But we had a crazy trade that went down not too long ago. I'm talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks. So basically, Karl Anthony Towns got traded for Dante DiVincenzo and Carl's boy Julius Randle
Never that. Never
as
that.
well. So definitely one of the more shocking trades that we've seen in quite some time as well too. What were your thoughts on that, Carl?
Yeah, it was crazy. I definitely didn't anticipate that in any way, shape, or form. I did anticipate Julius Randle getting moved because it felt like with all the pieces that they brought in, it felt like all the pieces that they brought in were for the team that they had in last year's playoffs, and that didn't feature Julius Randle. So it just seemed like he was kind of the odd man out. I just didn't think they were going to be able to swing him for Karl Anthony Towns, which I think is so crazy because honestly, these are probably two of the people that I talk down on the most.
The most.
It's Karl Anthony Towns and Randle.
You.
But I feel like Karl Anthony Towns is still a huge upgrade over Randle because at least Karl Anthony Towns in the playoffs is still like probably at least 17 points a game, and like he's gonna do decent from three, and he can do some other stuff. Whereas Julius Randle is literally dog shit in the playoffs. Like, excuse me, that's the only way to describe it. Like, so I think that it's for the Knicks, it kind of puts them in a place where it's like, okay, this is really this year, next year, we're trying to have like be our year because we were close last year with half our team injured. For the Wolves, I get they're talking about from a standpoint of like the salary, so I think this is more about building future for Anthony Edwards and also kind of clearing the way for him to be. I think he was already the undisputed like alpha on the team, but now it's just like for sure this is your squad. Like we're not worried about because at least it was Karl Anthony Towns' team for a couple of years before Ant got there. So, I think for them, this is more of a like just big picture moving forward. And I like them getting DiVincenzo back in the trade. I think having somebody who can actually score as a guard is going to be really good for them again come playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that this raises the Timberwolves ceiling. I think it absolutely raises the Knicks ceiling though. But I think it's more of a long-term move for the Wolves. So, I mean, overall, it's a weird trade.
Yeah,
I think so, but I like it.
yeah. No, like you said, I definitely think the Knicks are the winners of this trade as well too. Off the simple fact, like, I mean, I know with Julius Randle, once they acquired OG and Anunoby, I think they lost like what 2-3 games max as well too. But like you said, Julius Randle wasn't necessarily the best playoff performer, and Cat necessarily doesn't really match his regular season output as well too. But at least with Cat, he's still someone that you can respect from shooting outside as well too.
Yeah.
And also with Mitchell Robinson still injured, I don't think he's coming back till like late January. They definitely needed a big losing Isaiah Hartenstein as well too. So you have a legit guy who's relatively, for his career, relatively pretty durable in Cat. And I feel like with Cat, he's naturally a 5. And I know they try to bring that back that late 90s, early 2000s with two big men, in part to kind of basically combat Joker. But I feel like moving Cat to the 5 now, he can have a way more balanced inside out game as well too. So I'm looking forward to that because I feel like Rudy Gobert really took away from him playing inside the paint because you just have him in the dunker spot. Rudy Gobert can't stretch the floor. So in the perfect world, I think this is going to work out for them as well too. So now you have your wing defenders. Jalen Brunson's not obviously the best guard perimeter defender, but you can kind of hide him now. And you have OG Anunoby and you have Mikal Bridges with Josh Hart, which their defense is going to be crazy as well too. So I really like that for them as well too. I don't think anyone's going to step on anyone's toes because I feel like OG and Bridges are high-level role players.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Cat's going to naturally be that number 2 option as well, too. He has some familiarity with the coach, Tibbs. I'm not sure if they bumped heads or not, but from the Club Shay Shay interview, it seemed like with Cat, he had nothing but respect for Tibbs. And they've gotten older as well too. So I'm curious to see what that's like. I think this automatically catapults the Knicks to definitely a top 3 seed. And I think they can get to as far as the conference finals. Obviously, I have to see how things kind of pan out with seeding as well too, because you could have a situation where they're the 2 seed and play the 3 seed, which would be like Philly or the Celtics in the second round. They don't get there, but I think their future is looking bright right now. Like you said too, in part with Minnesota salary cap and also the new CBA kind of restricts you on who you can and can't pay. So they're definitely looking for long term as well. And this allows Julius Randle, because I feel like with another flaw that I saw with the Minnesota Timberwolves was they didn't have that other ball handler / shot creator. So I think Julius Randle, I think Anthony Edwards are definitely going to share that role as well too. I'm just really concerned with like who's going to be their starting 5 and how's that floor spacing going to work as well too, because with you letting Cat rock, that means you're probably going to give a bigger role to Naz Reid. So in a perfect world, I would like Naz Reid and I guess Rudy to be the 4 and 5, and it's just like, where do you kind of put Randall at? So, but I'm thinking Naz Reid probably still going to be the 6th man.
Yeah, Naz is definitely staying off the bench.
So do you think Mike Conley comes off the bench? Or
No,
DiVincenzo is the 6th man?
Randall's a 4. He doesn't really play.
So you got Randall at the 4, Gobert at the 5, Anthony Edwards at the 2, McDaniels at the 3, and then Mike Conley at the 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you bring up Naz Reid and DiVincenzo off your bench.
That's actually tough. And I think Rob Dillingham's going to get a lot of minutes this year. We'll see. Because I don't think Mike Conley's going to play. I don't think Mike Conley's going to play 82 games. There's going to be some games where there's blowouts on both ends. So from what I've seen so far from Rob Dillingham, like he looks like a certified bucket with what they need as well too. But I think this demotes Minnesota's ceiling, because with what they built last year, getting to the conference finals and being so close to getting to the finals, I think this puts OKC in a clear front seat to be the representatives of the Western Conference. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see OKC, Minnesota. I'm sorry, not OKC, Minnesota. OKC, Dallas running it back as well too. But they both won in respectable ways, but I think the winner was the New York Knicks for sure.
You think it's a clear cut OKC being number 1?
Number 1?
In the West?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think the Mavs made it to the finals last year, and they added Klay Thompson. They added
Klay Thompson, which I like as well, but I want to see what, because I feel like getting Klay Thompson, and obviously it's an upgrade from Derrick Jones Jr., but Derrick Jones Jr. was clearly the better perimeter defender. I don't think Klay is a defender that he once was. Now you have closing Klay Thompson, you have Kyrie Irving, you have Luka Doncic as well too. So your only real defender is probably your rim protector and Derek Lively, and then PJ Washington obviously is a pretty good wing defender. He proved that last year when he got acquired as well too. But you got 3 motherfuckers you can kind of pick on. So I'm curious to see what Jason Kidd's going to do defensively to try to get timely stops when it matters the most. Because I know you paid Klay Thompson a boatload of money, and in his eyes, at least now, his role is to be that shooter, that third option. So I'm just curious to see what that closing line is going to look like. But I'm thinking now, is it kind of mirrored like the Brooklyn Nets when they had Kyrie, when they had Harden and KD, where it's just like, fuck, we're just going to be efficient on offense and try to just outscore you, kind of like Indiana Pacers.
I think, though, Klay might not be the defender that he was. I think he's still serviceable, and I think he'll at least be that with a lesser offensive role, not having to be like the number 2 guy like he was in Golden State.
Yeah.
And I think also Dallas was a good defensive team last year, and that's with Luka on the court. That was with Kyrie on the court. I think I've seen Luka be a lot more of a effort guy now because he has a big body. Like he can body people up, and especially I'll say a lot of this was in the playoffs. I just think that they're not cones. It's not like Steph out there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And Steph, I don't blame him. He's just little. That's all.
Steph's got better over the years as a defender, though.
Yeah, but in that same way, I think Luka has. But Luka has the frame to. I think you're always at a disadvantage when you're smaller. Regardless, you can only play so much defense.
He got the frame.
I just remember I was watching him put his body into people in the playoffs.
Yeah, I like the frame. Like, let's say if someone's taking him in the post or he's guarding a person that's not as agile, I like it. But with these hybrid wings,
I don't know if they're going to be putting them on wings for real.
I mean, it's a pick and roll game now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's just gonna get switched on, and he's just gonna have to guard whoever. So it's gonna be interesting. And then I'm also thinking about Kyrie Irving, and I'm thinking about Luka's health as well too. So do you think
Luka's
they can?
health.
Yeah, he gets nicked up during the regular season. I know Kyrie missed like what 20, 30 games last year.
Kyrie, I would worry about. I'm not really worried about.
So,
Luka's
but
health.
those are other factors I'm thinking like why they wouldn't be the number 1 seed. So, but my pick is OKC.
Playoffs.
Huh?
Kyrie's played in the playoffs the past couple of years though.
Yeah.
So I hear you. I just don't think that. I don't think OKC can be a clear cut favorite right now.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Because they got better too.
I know
the same reason you said they got better.
Hartenstein and Caruso were great additions, absolutely.
And Chet's gonna be in year 2.
Yeah, but I think some of these other people, Lively is going to be now in year 2, and he was doing everything he was doing as a rookie. Chet technically was already in year 2.
Yeah,
we're being real. So that's all I'm saying. I just think that they're a lot more even. I don't think there's a clear cut. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that as well too. So you got them definitely finishing. Where do you got Minnesota finishing though? To wrap this up.
Minnesota, I would see as a top 4 seed.
Top 4. I said that too. And the Knicks top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I ain't mad at that.